Today I'm with Nabulya and her husband Xi Xiaowei in a village in Henan province.
Xi Xiaowei left his small farming village in central China in search of opportunity in 2013. His hometown in Henan province was quiet and traditional, but like many rural families, the income from farming was meager. When the chance came to work abroad on an international project, he packed his bags and set out on a journey that would take him far from everything familiar. That journey led him to Uganda, in East Africa, where China was helping to build the Kampala-Entebbe Expressway, a highway linking the capital city to the country's main international airport. For Xi, it was more than just a job. It was a chance to earn money for his family and to see a different part of the world. Life on the construction site was demanding. The days were long, the work was heavy, and the heat of the equatorial sun could be overwhelming. Meals were a brief escape from the labor, and it was in the canteen that Xi noticed a young woman named Nabulya. She was just 22 years old, working tirelessly as a cook and cleaner to support herself. Her tasks were not glamorous, washing dishes, preparing meals, sweeping floors, but she carried them out with quiet determination.
Told me, you are so beautiful.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Oh.
He started to say, I love you. And another day we started to talk.
At first, communication was almost impossible. He spoke only Chinese. She spoke no Chinese at all. Their worlds seemed as far apart as the continents they came from. And yet, there was something about the way they looked at each other. A curiosity, a warmth, a willingness to bridge the distance. What began as gestures and simple smiles grew into something deeper. With time, they found ways to talk, piecing together fragments of English, body language, and patience. Where words failed, kindness filled the gap. Slowly, the construction site became not just a place of work, but the setting for an unexpected connection between two people from opposite sides of the globe. Later that year, their bond became official. Against the backdrop of a highway meant to connect cities, they themselves built a bridge of love. Xi and Nabulya were married in Uganda, beginning a partnership that would carry them across continents and into a shared future neither could have predicted. By 2015, after their marriage in Uganda and the completion of the construction project, Xi Xiaowei and Nabulya faced a major decision. Would they stay in Africa, closer to her family and the world she knew? Or would they journey back to his remote farming village in Henan, a place she had never seen, with customs and language entirely foreign to her? In the end, love carried the day. Hand in hand, they boarded a plane and began the long journey to rural China. For Nabulya, it meant leaving behind her parents, her friends, and the land of her birth. For Xi, it meant bringing his new wife into the fold of his own traditions, hoping she would find a home in the quiet hills of his village. When they arrived, the sight of them together turned heads. A young Ugandan woman, standing in a village of stone houses and farm plots, was a rare presence. Neighbors peeked from doorways, children whispered, and elders studied her with cautious curiosity. Would she be able to live the life of a Chinese farmer's wife? Could she endure the hardships of the land, the unfamiliar food, the long winters? What happened next surprised everyone. Nabulya threw herself into village life with open arms. She learned the local dialect, not just with basic phrases, but with such fluency that she could hold conversations and even joke with neighbors. She mastered the art of Henan cooking steaming noodles, preparing dumplings, and seasoning dishes the way her mother-in-law had taught her. And when it came time to work the land, she did not shy away. Side by side with Xi, she bent her back under the same sun, planting, weeding, and tending to the family's crops. Over time, the whispers faded into smiles. The villagers began to see her not as an outsider, but as one of their own. Her mother-in-law, who had once worried about whether a foreign daughter-in-law could fit into their way of life, found her fears melting away. With admiration, she declared to neighbors, "She is no different from a local daughter-in-law." By 2017, Xi Xiaowei and Nabulya were no longer newlyweds adjusting to village life. They were a family with growing responsibilities, and their dreams had begun to take root in the soil of Henan. Instead of simply farming small household plots, they made a bold decision to lease nearly 20 acres of land and dedicate themselves to cultivating prickly ash, a spice tree highly valued in the region. The task was daunting. Much of the land they acquired was not fertile farmland but barren slopes and gullies. the kind of neglected ground most villagers avoided. Yet the couple saw possibility where others saw difficulty. Day after day, they carried saplings up the hills, dug holes in rocky soil, and carefully planted row after row. Their hands blistered, their clothes stained with sweat and dust, but they persisted. By 2018, their determination bore fruit. The orchards on their nearly 20 acres of once barren land had been transformed into vibrant fields of prickly ash trees. In summer, the slopes filled with a sharp, citrusy fragrance as the branches grew heavy with clusters of red pods. The couple would walk through their fields together, running their hands along the branches, proud of what they had built with their own labor. What had once been wasteland now promised a steady livelihood for their family. But 2018 brought more than agricultural success. It was also the year their family achieved the stability that comes with legal recognition. That September, Nabulya was granted an official residence permit, formalizing her place in China after years of uncertainty. Around the same time, both of their sons were entered into the household registration system, a vital step that secured their access to education, healthcare, and future opportunities. For Z and Nabulya, this milestone carried deep relief. They no longer had to worry about whether their children would be seen as outsiders. The elder son, now of age, could finally enroll in kindergarten. He joined his classmates with a backpack on his shoulders, carrying not only books and pencils, but also the hope of a future fully rooted in the country of his birth. Even their sons' names reflected the story of their parents. The elder boy was named Buwei, a thoughtful blend of both mother and father's names, a living symbol of their union. Their younger son carried the name Yafei, which meant Asia-Africa. In those two syllables lay the history of continents meeting, cultures intertwining, and a family that stood as proof that love knows no borders. That same year, the couple's love had not only survived oceans and cultures, it had begun to capture the attention of the wider world. That year, they were invited to appear on a nationally broadcast year-end love story program, a show known for celebrating couples whose relationships embodied perseverance, devotion, and cultural connection. The stage was grand, adorned with warm lights that shimmered like stars, casting a glow over the audience and the cameras recording every moment. As they walked onto the stage, the atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. The audience, a mix of families, students, and couples, leaned forward in curiosity, sensing that this was not a conventional love story. Nabulya, usually reserved in front of crowds, took a deep breath and faced Z, his hand clasping hers firmly. With a clear, steady voice, he declared, "I am very happy now. Husband, I love you." His words carried the weight of years apart, of challenges overcome, of countless hours spent proving that love could endure across continents. Nabulya's eyes shimmered with tears as she responded, her voice tender yet confident. "No matter what others say, I know I chose the right wife. Our days will only get better." In that moment, the world seemed to pause. Cameras captured the sincerity in their expressions. The audience felt the authenticity of their connection, and viewers at home were reminded that love could transcend culture, language, and distance. It was a public affirmation of a bond forged in quiet determination and lived experience, a recognition that their love had earned a place in the hearts of many. By 2019, Xiaowei and Nabulya had reached a stage in their lives where the quiet moments of family togetherness felt too beautiful to keep private. They decided to begin sharing snippets of their daily life on Douyin, documenting the ordinary yet meaningful threads of their existence. What started as casual videos, meant merely as a personal diary of life across continents, quickly resonated with thousands. Their family's online presence was refreshingly simple. Some videos captured the harvest of prickly ash in the countryside, the sun casting a golden hue over the fields as Z carefully plucked the spice with practiced hands. Other clips showed Nabulya and Z preparing meals together in their modest kitchen, laughter spilling over as the children ran around, chasing each other between counters and tables. There were quiet afternoons of reading under the shade of a tree, playful snowball fights, and bedtime rituals where stories and songs created a cocoon of love and warmth. Despite the simplicity of their content, it struck a chord with viewers across the country. People were drawn not to polished production or glamorous settings, but to authenticity, the genuine love between parents, the joy of children, the quiet harmony of a family navigating life together. Within a short period, their videos attracted over 100,000 followers, each subscriber drawn by the honest depiction of a life built with care, patience, and devotion. Z, ever humble, often remarked about the unexpected reach of their online life. "We just felt happy and casually shared," he said, a smile tugging at his lips. "We never expected so many people to follow." In those words lay a truth about their approach. They were not performing for fame or validation. They were simply inviting the world to witness the rhythm of their love and family, letting it speak for itself. 2 years later, in 2020, Nabulya received a deeply personal form of recognition, one that rooted her sense of belonging, not just in marriage, but in family and community. At a ceremony held in the town where Z's family resided, she was honored as a good daughter-in-law. The event was vibrant, with neighbors, relatives, and local leaders gathered to celebrate her dedication, respect, and the warmth she brought into her new family. Nabulya, known for her humility, took the stage to speak briefly, her voice steady but filled with emotion. Then, to the delight of the audience, she sang, "The Moon Represents My Heart," a song that had become a favorite in her new Chinese home. Her voice, soft yet resonant, carried across the hall, weaving nostalgia and love into every note. Applause erupted, heartfelt and sustained, as attendees recognized not just her talent, but the care, patience, and devotion that had earned her this moment. For Nabulya, it was more than an award. It was validation of her journey, a tangible acknowledgement that she had found her place, her belonging, not by abandoning her roots, but by blending them beautifully with Z's world. For Nabulya, sharing life online also provided another, more personal connection. Living thousands of miles from her homeland had sometimes left her feeling homesick, yet through the platform, she discovered a small but vibrant network of fellow Ugandans living in China. Their story, once a private journey of love against the odds, had become a public testament to the idea that family is not defined by borders, but built through shared work, quiet devotion, and the courage to create a home in the most unexpected of places.